Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Physiology of Endurance podcast. I'm Ash, joined as ever by Owain, and this is 3 weeks to go to the Barry 40 miles. So if you haven't been following along, 40 miles round the track, 161 laps. Not trying to get in your head at all, Owain, but yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's 3 weeks to go. I think the same answer as last week. I'd like a few more. Well, I'd like a few more weeks, but I'm also actually a bit fed up of doing really big sessions.
Just
yeah.
sessions in general, isn't it? Just started doing some sessions.
To be honest, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, just not feeling like there's a day of the week that's more important than the others. But yeah, no, I think doing all right. I think feeling all right. Yeah, training's going okay. So, yeah.
Good. Well, before we dive into your week in detail, let's give a shout out to our sponsors, Saw. So Saw, you're pretty fed up of us talking about them by now, but produced some really nice kit. I had an email into my inbox this week. They've got a new spring collection out. I particularly like the look of their new race vest. I think it's very cool. And I like their previous rainbow design. I think this is a step up. So yeah, hopefully get my hands on one of them at some point. But anything you take your fancy there from the new spring collection, Owain?
I think the same. I think all the colors look nice. Like there's stuff that I maybe wouldn't necessarily, pick in terms of like it's a bit too loud, but it still looks cool, which I think is a good sign. You can
express yourself, though, can't you? There's so many designs. Actually, yeah, you're not going to pick everyone, but that's a nice thing, isn't it? There's definitely a few of them I'd go, yeah, that's really, really nice. Yeah. I'm liking I'm quite enjoying the Ice Flame. Have you seen that one? Black and blue. I think that's a favorite of mine. I like that. Let's have a look. Rainbow Dot. Yeah, I like the look of that one too. Might have to buy some.
Give up the Ponty vest this weekend. Why that?
Oh, I can't do that. No.
Jake Smith will kill you if you do that.
Yeah. Well, it'll be always in his NN kit anyway. He never
Does he even own a Ponty vest?
Yeah, maybe. Does he know where Ponty is? That's the question.
Has he ever been?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Never seen him at Bevi, but I can't talk. I've only been a few times myself. So we'll move on and talk about your week, shall we? So week beginning the 3rd of February. Don't know how we're already in February. Let's kick us off then. 7:54 a.m. 3rd of Feb.
Early run.
Early run. That's quite early.
No, 7:45, even earlier.
7:45. Yeah. Can't read.
Just the standard hour easy. Feeling pretty good on that one. Nice after. Or I didn't do it. I raced on the Saturday, didn't I? So yeah, just the standard hour easy. I was about to say I had to get it in early, but it's just going to set people off. Got it in fairly
relative.
Hour easy, and then it's not on Strava because I'm not putting it on Strava. But then went to Bath and spent the afternoon in a spa. So good single heat gain session. I probably spent about an hour in the sauna all up, but nice afternoon. I was in there and I was like, if this was more convenient, I would do this all the time. But I think that's the problem with the heating stuff, isn't it? You have to make it really convenient to do it and to stick with it. And
it's more convenient than altitude, isn't it? But it's still not. You still need to have the time, and you can run a bath at home if you got a bath, but again, it still takes up time, doesn't it? And I think for a lot of people that is the limiter, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm certainly starting to find, and I'm in a pretty fortunate position. And then you go, well, would you be better off doing a run or doing a bath? Well, probably going for a run. So
and I mean that's sort of, I think, being part of my feeling throughout, isn't it? Like I think you would maybe tend towards saying just double and then add the heating in maybe, but I guess individuals vary in how many miles they can sort of tolerate and everything, but Yeah, no, though, I mean, there was a nice afternoon. Yeah, and I was sort of like, oh, I wish this was more convenient. Yeah, so getting ideas about like building a sauna in my back garden, but that's a long way off.
Uh,
It means you
just,
don't have to deal with the really bad etiquette of some people in the sauna. Um, yeah,
it costs a fortune to heat, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would.
I've
Yeah.
got a feeling. I'm sure I've seen somewhere Stephen Scully building himself a sauna or something like that. He's the sort of guy who would, wouldn't he? But yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and took it down 2 weeks later.
Yeah, no, that was a
Nice.
nice afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I don't know. Yeah, feels nice as well. Apart from the, obviously there's not going to be any heat gains with that. But you know, feels nice. Feels nice when you come out. Yeah. No, and then so then Tuesday morning I did
Now this
10.
was early. This was 7:05. I would
I know.
count. I would
Yeah.
count. Let's say this is early.
Yeah. So I did 10 miles. Yeah, we stayed overnight in Bath and then had we didn't really have any plans. Just it's a really nice city. Like yeah, I really enjoyed the brief trip. But I say we didn't have plans, but like didn't want to sort of take the piss and like be out the door at 8 and back at 9:30. And then sort of take up the day. So yeah, I wanted to go early. And this is where a few weeks ago I mentioned that I'd be there, and if anyone wanted to drop me a message, sort of aiming to run like 4:15s, which we did. So yeah, ran with a couple of listeners. So yeah, shout out Owen and Tom. Yeah, really good chat. Also really convenient. Like they showed me where to go because I definitely would have gotten lost. Like I mean, we ran most of it on a canal, which is like really nice running. But getting onto the canal is a bit convoluted, I think. But yeah, no, really good company. Didn't feel like I was running 4:15s, just chatting the whole way. Just probably a good sign.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, again, we joke about me not getting up early in the morning, but it is quite nice, like, getting out when it's still dark and then the day sort of starts around you. That's quite, yeah, it's nice once in a while.
You feel like you're a proper yeah, beating the crowds, don't you? And
Yeah.
yeah, proper working man. Only 58 only 58 meters of elevation though.
I know, yeah, that was well, so the guys said when we met, they were like, oh, we can either run along the canal or we can go straight up a hill. And like if you've ever been in Bath, it's just surrounded by hills, like you're just in a valley. And I was like, yeah, let's stick to the canal. I didn't fancy going straight up the side of a hill and then back down the other side. Yeah, no, that was really nice. I don't know, there's something about running along a canal, isn't there? Like it's
I
just,
like it. I mean, like I
yeah.
said, there's one just literally 200 meters from my house, and
Yeah.
I do probably about about 50% of my mileage, but it isn't on a treadmill. It's probably on that canal.
Yeah, like you got no traffic, lots of wildlife, sort of.
Yeah, we see how it's good. We see all sorts. I guaranteed some guaranteed good spotting of wildlife. What is it we always see? Oh god, the name's gone. I'm obviously not a good enough twitcher.
I was gonna say I'll have to lend you my bird watching book if you want.
Heron. We always guaranteed to see a heron. Yeah, guaranteed to see a heron. No, he looks out for him if he's in my buggy. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so
nice,
Wednesday.
Nice Wednesday. So yeah, Wednesday session. So yeah, thinking that there's probably this session and maybe one more big one, and then at that point probably reduce the sessions and reduce the long runs. And sort of similar vibe to the week before. I wanted to do some longer. I don't want to say slower, but longer blocks of running and then get a bit faster towards the end. So I thought, well, my plan was to do sort of an hour's worth of work. And I sort of then divided that down into 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And then the plan was 3 by 5 minutes, but I only ended up doing 2. And that was 3 minutes between the bigger blocks and then 1 minute between the 5-minute reps. Yeah, and I sort of thought again, build into it a bit. So the 20 minutes the aim was at 165 beats, which is just above my first threshold. The 15 and the 10 minutes were again aiming 170, so sort of halfway between thresholds. And in the 5 minutes, I just set the heart rate alert at my threshold, my second threshold, so 175. And for the first three felt pretty good. Yeah, like sort of nice and controlled. I can't, like, I've said now 6-7 weeks in a row I don't have pace showing. I don't know why I've not noticed it before, but when you program a workout in Garmin, like it tells you the pace at the end of the the run section of the workout. And it was saying the paces, and I was like fairly happy with them. And then got to the 5 minutes, and I did the first one, and like my legs just felt like, again, jelly, or like not jelly, like just nothing there. And it felt like I was having to work really hard. And I had a similar feeling to the one I had during the cross country a few days before this, where just it felt like I'd gone over maybe my threshold and was just into that sort of like red zone, even though my heart rate was like actually fairly low. It's like 172, 173 sort of thing. Yeah, like it was fairly chilled, but it just felt like I was like working really hard. And I finished the first one, and then the Garmin said the pace, and it said like 3:30 a K, or 3:30 pace, and I was like, oh, okay, like I'm feeling okay. I thought, let's try the next one, see if that feels okay. Did the next 5 minutes, had exactly the same feelings, and I finished it just by Blackway Bridge, sort of running back, the last kilometre, that point of park run. And like just going, so it's barely a ramp, but just going up that, I was just like, I just feel like absolutely like wrecked now, like starting to struggle to breathe. And finishing the rep and sort of being like, I'm not ready to go within 10-15 seconds. And just decided at that point, like, let's just call it, sort of thing. And yeah, just sort of, what was it at this point, 5 minutes isn't going to make a difference. And also Garmin read out the pace, and it said like 3:38 pace. So I was like, okay, I've dropped 8 seconds a K. Maybe some of that's GPS, but I'm slowing down, I'm not feeling as good. Like, let's just call the session off there. Ran home, and then I looked on like Strava, and the paces that Garmin was saying to me wasn't the paces that I'd done in the reps. So the first 5 minute rep, I'd done it in like 3:25 a K, and the second was 3:30. And I was like, why is it telling me a different pace? I mean, this is a sort of side tangent. Like, I just get really annoyed with Garmin. Like, there's just some obvious bugs with Garmin watches that apparently no one at Garmin works or wears their watch to run with.
See,
and
is it reporting through your headphones? Is it?
Yeah, so it's the watch, like, because the watch says, like run 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Max.
See, I've never had it because I've never run with headphones. I've never experienced this, and like I don't see it doesn't report the pace to me. You see, at the end, even if I've programmed in a session. Yeah. Not that I normally do, but if I do, it doesn't say that. But it's amazing how different psychologically. If they had been replaced, they'd reported to you, you'd probably have done the last 5 minutes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, possibly. If I'd had 3:25 for the first one, like that's really good for me. I don't think I've ever done outdoors. I don't think I've ever done like any sort of threshold running at 3:25, and that's after 45 minutes of work. So that's like, I saw that after, I was like, whoa, like that's really good. And like, I was feeling a bit rubbish, but part of that is probably just the fact I'm running at 3:25 a K. So maybe that was actually over my threshold, and my threshold heart rate that day was a bit lower.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a lag on that first rep, isn't it? Or something about jumping intensity.
Yeah, but
so I do like it. Sometimes you just don't want to overpace. Do you just put, right, I'm going to do 10-minute reps, and it's quite refreshing just not thinking about the pace.
Yeah.
So, and I've definitely looked back at sessions, gone, if I'd seen most splits, I'd have called it a day. Yeah. But I've done it, and actually it was all right.
Yeah. So I think if I just hadn't heard any of the paces at all, I probably still would have called it after 2, like just based on the feel. Because I would have finished that first one, and I would have like at least started the second and been like, let's see how this feels. And it wasn't necessarily feeling bad. Like, it's a feeling you can sustain. I sustained it for a cross country race. But it was just sort of, the fact that I'd felt the same a few days before in a cross country race. I was like, oh, what's this 5 minutes isn't going to make a difference at this point.
And it might just be fatigue from a race, mightn't it, as well? Still.
Yeah, some fatigue.
When you start, because those fast twitch muscle fibers definitely take longer to recover, and you're going to use, most of the time you're not using them in your sessions so much. You might, you're not going to recruit every single one, but because I was after Valencia, it was amazing. Like, I easy running felt like great, back to normal, and like 10 days later went to do a session, uh, and it was like I'd done a marathon yesterday.
Mm,
And I'm sure it's
mm.
because those slow twitch fibers are recovered, they're good to go again. And but then when you're jogging around and your easy stuff, you're not recruiting them. You go and do a faster session, and suddenly you're using these fibers. They're still mashed up. They're
Yeah,
still like in
yeah.
bits. Um, but yeah, I think especially if you're just using it, just doing threshold stuff, you don't necessarily notice. When you do something like run a marathon, and by the end you're recruiting all your muscle fibers, or you go and do a hard cross country race,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
fry up a bit, don't you?
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, still pretty good session. Like, I was pretty happy with the
Yeah.
paces, like pretty happy with how I felt. Yeah, still, I mean, I haven't decided like what I'll do this week, this coming week, but I think I've really sort of been hitting probably more toward, like we always say, like you don't just isolate one physiological component to train, like you are always sort of training everything. But I think I've been like really hitting the durability, which is probably, I mean, I think it's probably the key piece for most people, isn't it? Like it
Certainly
doesn't
on
matter.
something that in
Yeah,
something that long it is, isn't it? Like you're not, because your first threshold, what do we measure it as in the lab before Christmas?
in terms of speed,
Yeah.
um, was it 15.3 or something, maybe? 15
It's-
is 4 minute Ks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's 15.3, maybe. Somewhere between like 15.3 and 15.8, I think we put it.
Yeah.
Where
So
I
it's
think
like,
we said
so it's like 350 a K, or if
yeah,
low 350 a K, and you want to run 4 minute Ks, you go, well, you probably just need to get more durable, don't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, obviously, if you get that first threshold a bit higher, or your second threshold a bit
yeah,
higher, that allows you to have a bit more buffer. You
yeah,
don't need to be quite so durable.
yeah,
It's just more so maximal then, isn't it? So,
yeah,
but
yeah. And still trying to work everything, but yeah, that's sort of been a real heavy like emphasis. Yeah, and then yeah, knowing that I'm going to get some intense stuff from some of the races, so that's helped. But yeah, I haven't decided whether I'll do one more session like that or just sort of, I don't know. I think that maybe a more traditional like approach is to get a bit faster towards. Well, I guess I don't know. There's other
yeah,
people that
people
go
like to.
slower, don't they?
I
Dial
think,
down towards race pace.
yeah, but I think in general, even people preparing for a marathon, they go out and do some faster stuff.
Yeah, I say
As
faster stuff like it'll still be like threshold, like second threshold, but still trying to accumulate a lot of work. But
I think it's also just not overthinking it. It's not going to make a difference,
yeah,
is it? It's not going to
yeah,
make it. So just do something pretty similar to what you have been doing, but
yeah.
probably a little bit less of it.
There might
It's
be a
fine. Nice.
practicality might sort of force my hand as well. So
Yeah.
like I might end up on the treadmill this week. So at that point, it's probably not going to be longer than 10 minutes. Just because anything longer than a 10-minute rep on a treadmill is like pretty
Feels very
unbearable.
long, doesn't it?
Yeah,
10 minutes are all right. But the only good thing about 10-minute reps, if you're doing like a series of them, you're only going to do 4 or 5, and then you do one and you're like, well, I'm quarter done, aren't I?
yeah. That's the nice feeling. But yeah, it's when you look at your watch and you're like 3 minutes in and you're like, oh God,
Yeah.
I've got a long way to go. But yeah, no, that was pretty happy with that session. Got on 120 grams of carbs. So yeah, again, nice.
So 120, and you're only running for an hour and 2 minutes,
Yeah,
right?
so I was having them. I had gels after the 20, 15, and 10-minute reps. Um,
So
yeah,
you're
like
basically, you're at like what, 115 grams an hour there.
yeah. I mean, it's easy because you stood still when you're taking them, and maybe that contributed to why I felt a bit, not great on the 5-minute reps. That I was just actually overfueled. But yeah, like when you've got a sort of a 3-minute like recovery, basically walk. Yeah, there's loads of scope to take gels and that. Like yeah,
Yeah, it's
plenty of
easy, isn't
time.
it?
Yeah. But yeah, no, pretty happy with that. Yeah, good block of running. And then Thursday again, sort of normal vibe. Hour easy again, feeling pretty good with this. Yeah, nice and easy, and yeah, again, good sort of pace, which is, I think, yeah, it's sort of when we record these and we're going back over a week, like there's not much variation in pace, but like I can see my pace has gotten quicker over the block for these easy runs for basically the same heart rate. So that's generally, I think, yeah, like a pretty good sign, isn't it? Like easy runs getting faster. Yeah, either that or you're really fatigued and your heart rate's
See, I was gonna
getting
say mine tends to trend the other way, but I just get more and more tired, and so my easy runs get a bit slower, and yeah, the heart rate's like still low, but I don't see much change in my easy run pace over the course of a marathon block.
I think,
Only in the taper when I freshen up and go, actually, normally I'm running around at 420 Ks and I end up closer to fours maybe if I'm feeling a bit fresher and a bit more pop. But
I mean, maybe it's a sign that like there's way more scope for me to run more. Like I'm never going out the door and feeling particularly like heavy legged or.
But I think that's good. I think people, that's a sign you're absorbing the training, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I prefer to be that way. Than I think if you are going out, every run feels heavy legged and it's an effort, that's when you know you're probably overdoing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, like if I'm doing, I have like normally a really big Tuesday and Friday with a big session, a gym session, and then another run. So I wake up on Wednesday and actually I still feel all right. That's a great sign for me. But yeah, that was a good stimulus. But I'm not cooked. I can still run.
Yeah.
Feel okay. If I'm really struggling that next day, I've probably overdone it.
Yeah.
Or it's just accumulation of work, in which case maybe I need to back off a bit for a couple of days.
Yeah. I guess we all respond differently, don't we? But yeah, because you're also running so much faster during the sessions, so there's going to be, I guess, maybe more biomechanical fatigue. I don't know if that's.
Because we actually run up. You're probably running your faster runs easier than me on average at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm not. You're quite regularly getting down into the 414s, 412s, okay, and sometimes I'm there, but I'm normally just hovering around 420.
Yeah. But then like the sessions, like you're going sort of significantly faster, aren't you? Like this week you did like 249 a K for some reps.
Yeah, 75 seconds.
Like whereas I can't ever touch that sort of thing. So that's that's really moving. I don't know, maybe last lap about 40 I'll drop a, what would that
drop
be?
a 59 last lap. Yeah,
that might be the challenge. If I make it to the last lap, how fast can I run it?
Take a walking break, the penultimate one, and then go right flat out.
Roll into it.
We'll get some speed gates out and see what the drop off is.
No, we need speed gates to time it. It won't be that
last
fast.
30 meters, you see.
Yeah. So then Friday, same as sort of the last few weeks, 20K. Again, yeah, feeling really good. Again, not looking at the pace, and it's 409 a K, which is a good sign. Yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, just feeling good, which is nice. Like you don't want to get too confident, I guess, but no, yeah, good heart rate. Felt like, I think, yeah, not only the sort of average heart rate for the run is good, but you also, like, you notice like when you go over a hill that your just heart rate's immediately dropping, sort of going over the other side. I always sort of find what's the last hill in Cardiff Half called? Is it Heathfield Terrace?
Up to Catay's Terrace.
Up to Catay's Terrace, but I think it's Heathfield. But up from Roth Lake.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Anyone that's run
Past
Cardiff
cemetery.
Half, yeah, will know that hill. And like, if I'm not in very good shape, I go over that hill and then going down Catay's Terrace, like my heart rate's still high. Whereas if I'm in good shape, I get to, you get to the cemetery and like your heart rate's already dropping, which is, yeah, normally a good sign as well for me. So, yeah, I guess like taking the good signs when they come. And then, yeah, Saturday again, sort of normal Saturday, hour easy. I went 1 o'clock, which is really late, and I felt, for the first 10 minutes, I felt awful. Like I was getting dressed to go, and I was like, basically felt like I was having like a hypo, like I was just really low, like sugar.
I think you're just getting in your own head. I think you're just getting in your own head about running.
I don't think I ate enough in the morning, but.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll get next week. We'll go through your food diary from a study.
No, we're not doing that. That's off limits. I'll do another one and I'll eat properly for a week.
Is that right? Yeah, I'll share mine if you share.
But no, yeah, that was nice and straightforward. And then Sunday morning, what's 33k? Is that 20? I think I've got 20.8 miles, maybe
something like that. Well, 32.2 is to an extra k, so yeah, half a mile. Yeah.
No, 2 hours 25 with Dan, and then another listener, Owen, who was visiting Cardiff from Brighton. So good company. I thought it was a good loop. I don't know if you have any thoughts, but I enjoyed that.
Do you know what? Bethan Davis, the race walker, messaged me because I shared the the flyover on Strava. I shared that on Instagram, and she messaged me saying, "Oh, it looks like a nice route." And,
nice, cool.
Yeah. So she approved. Commonwealth Games medalist approved, but it was different. I liked it. I
don't think many people go up Leckwith Hill, do they?
It was a tough first half, and then you have a wind on the way back, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which I wasn't finding the most enjoyable, but it was a nice loop, and it was a nice morning fit really as well.
Yeah, good morning. And really hit the carbs hard on this one. So 200 grams of carbs, which was 540-gram gels. Maybe got a bit behind at the start, but caught up at the end. And
I told him off, listeners. I said he was. We were nearly an hour, and he only had like one. So you must have caught up a bit.
Yeah, I caught up towards the end. I think I had one past the Seneth, and then another one when I dropped Owen off, sort of with 5k for me to go. So yeah, maybe a bit redundant at the end, but no, good nice loop, good company. So I'll probably aim to do sort of similar mileage, like long run next week. I think a pretty good week. Sort of a standard week, so there's nothing interesting, no fell races or anything. But yeah, no,
about 84 grams an hour of carbs for that long run.
Yeah, which I think
not hitting 120 of the session, but
no,
that's still pretty solid, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with with a carb load and race day, like I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think
especially the intensity that we're trying to run, like that will hopefully be enough, and also like having access to drinks, I think will make it so much easier. I mean, I'll try to keep track during the race of exactly how much I consume. Like maybe I document like everything I start the race with, and then afterwards I can figure out like roughly when I take stuff, and because I think that might be quite interesting.
You have to get Rachel and note it down.
I know, yeah. As well as lap scoring, she can note what I take. I mean, the problem is the lap timers sit basically where the 100-meter start is, but then the food is at the other end of the straight, so it's sort of hard to see. But I think we'll just document everything I start with, and then everything I have, and probably be fairly easy to tell what I've had, because I think I'm curious to see if I can hit that sort of rate during the race.
It's one thing in a marathon you can remember if you took 6 other gels or not, isn't it? But in a 40-mile race, but if you just see what you've laid down on the table before and see what's left at the end.
I don't know, I guess weigh, because I'll probably put like a drink mix in a massive bottle and then just pour it into a flask as and when, so measure how much is left, I guess.
You'll aliquot it out into smaller bottles which you can just run with.
It will definitely be in a smaller bottle, but I don't know whether I'll just have like 3 or 4 and then like get Rachel to pour a bit more in during the race, or if
go to Aldi, get a pack of 8 or it's 12, I'm not even 8 or 12 fruit shoots, or fruit shoot equivalents, fill them all up. That's if you get 2 packs, that's plenty. That's all you're going to need.
I hate the idea of the plastic waste though, but needs must.
It's all right. It's not like you're chucking it.
Not chucking it in the sea. I'll chuck it in the sea after. No, we'll I think we're saying we'll go through the fueling and the pacing like in the next 2 weeks, I reckon. Mostly because I need to plan it. I keep thinking aloud during these podcasts, and I actually need to like commit pen to paper and plan it out. But yeah, no, pretty decent week. Pretty happy.
I just looking through the long run this morning. You dropped a couple of 350 Ks at the end there, K13, K31.
Yeah, I felt like I was sort of rolling pretty well at the end. And actually, I did think my heart rate was like pretty low. For me, like I would expect like well over 150 for that sort of pace, but like 146 average. I don't know how much of that is just like running with company and just chatting. Like
it was quite a hilly route as well, really.
Yeah. Although I don't
thought
think
it was hilly.
We didn't really push any of the downhills, which I think maybe keeps your heart rate a bit higher after the hills, doesn't it? Whereas we were sort of like just not attacking them, not trying to drop each other. I noticed that as well, and I felt running along the Taff Trail at the end like I was moving pretty well. Like I didn't really feel like I had any of the sort of like tiredness that you maybe have when you're not doing many long runs. Or
we've done plenty of them, haven't you?
Yeah.
132k per week, 9.5 hours.
Yeah,
looks pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty happy.
Got a very flat line on Strava.
Yeah, one down week, which I think was that. Oh, I didn't do a long run that week because I had a fell race, didn't I? So yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean your average must be in like 125, something like that. You'd think, wouldn't you? 120.
Yeah, I'd hope so. Which hopefully, sort of similar conclusion to what we came with Road to Valencia, wasn't it? Like that's probably the main thing. Like some combination of the distance or the time is the main thing rather than the sessions.
Yeah, you need a bit of both, don't you? But you've been consistent with them too, so.
Yeah, no, pretty happy.
Yeah. So before we chuck some questions at you, I think one thing we've been having loads of comments on our Spotify, which is nice. If you listen on Spotify, you can comment underneath the podcast episodes, and we do read them and get back to. I think we get back to all of them pretty much, don't we? I hope so. I certainly aim to. But in our last podcast where we had the nutritionist on from Morton, I think I said that glucose is a single source carbohydrate, and in my head,
was it glucose or was it table sugar?
Table sugar. Sorry, I thought table sugar.
We've made a mistake in the correction.
Yeah, we made table sugar. In my head, I thought it was just glucose, but it's not glucose. It's sucrose, which is a mixture of fructose and glucose, so two molecules bound together. So technically, table sugar is a dual source carbohydrate. I want to go and do some more reading around using table sugar instead, because I meant to look up before we did this podcast, but I ran out of time.
I had a very brief look, and I think the reason it's not really, or glucose isn't used, I think is the main thing, because it can really spike your blood, your insulin levels, I think was what it said. We're issuing a correction and we haven't actually researched it.
But I was just going to say, bear with us. I'm going to go and read all around it, because we want to put out accurate stuff. And that was just from my memory. I thought that table sugar was just glucose, but apparently it's not. It's sucrose, which I know that sucrose is a glucose and fructose molecule, which a lot of energy gels are glucose and fructose. But I don't know if there is a difference. You don't see sucrose labeled in put in gels typically. You don't see that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking there must be a reason for that. And it could just be an economic one, that it's expensive. But I feel like if it was as simple as putting sucrose in a gel, you'd see it more often. I don't know. I'm thinking there must be a reason why you don't see it. It could just be economic, and that actually maltodextrin is really cheap, and fructose is, and I'm getting confused now. I'm confused myself now. But bear with us. We'll get back to you. But I have seen a couple of papers looking at table sugar versus other gels, but I need to dig into results a bit more, and we'll feed that back to you. But I think you're probably not going to be using table sugar for your Barry 40.
I don't think so. No.
A risk if you've not just been. Now I have heard of people buying maltodextrin and fructose and mixing it up.
Yeah. I think at some point I'd like to give that a go just to see.
It's the thing is, it's the packaging of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the tricky bit.
Yeah.
Because you do typically want it in a gel form, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, in this situation I have that access to drinks, so that opens up the possibility of doing it, but it's still something to experiment with. And I don't know whether you would, like, I guess if you're making your own stuff, you could, have, like, I don't know, like, again, like, you could have 4 bottles that are, I don't know, like, try different ratios, I guess.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that is coming to my mind is that typically we see that the gels, like both SIS, Base of Fuel, and Morton use a 0.8 to 1 glucose to fructose ratio, whereas obviously sucrose is a 1 to 1. Is that enough to make a difference? I don't know, because they always used to be 0.5 to 1, and then apparently 0.8 to 1 is better. Is one, but 0.8 to 1 versus 1 to 1 seems very close to me.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah,
we will dig in more into that.
Yeah.
But one question we did have was, so it went badly. Well, it didn't go great last time. You pulled out at 30 miles, right?
Yep.
Why was that? Because I don't think we really dug into that.
We briefly mentioned it, didn't we? So, I mean, I think the fundamental reason was I ran too fast, like, which is going to be the reason behind, like, most people's DNFs. I think even most people's DNFs, even when there's like a niggle, it's probably
they went out too hard.
That's it. Yeah, went out too hard. I think I've heard other people say, like, people that say, like, oh, I had stomach issues. It's probably you went out too hard.
Yeah.
It's
just going to compound anything, isn't it? If you've got an injury, you've gone out too hard, and now you're really fatigued, then that injury is obviously going to be more likely to stop you running. And the same with your gut, isn't it?
Yeah.
A higher intensity with less blood to your GI tracts, the more likely you can have stomach upsets.
Yeah. But no, in the race last year, basically I had a, like, lap sort of time in mind, and I was literally lapping my watch every lap, which, like, something I've learned that's a bit sort of mentally taxing, doing that every lap. So yeah, I had a lap time in mind, and I basically just ended up being like 2 or 3 seconds, like maybe, 1 to 2, and then the odd 3 or 4 seconds faster per lap, basically every lap for 25 miles. Which, I ran a not bad marathon split.
God, did you go through the marathon in? Do you remember?
2:48.
Yeah, that's solid, isn't it?
Yeah, like, that's, pretty happy with that. Like, considering I then kept on running for.
What's your best again? Remind me.
2:38.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, pretty happy with that. And it's not going to be, you're not going to be that far off, I think, if you pace it right, if you're in, like, similar fitness. But yeah, so I basically I had a lap target in mind, and then went faster than the target. And I don't know if the target would have worked anyway.
But it's easy to fall into that trap of, I imagine, 1 second under, you go, it's only 1 second under, or 2 seconds under. But actually, that's 1 second a lap is 2.5 seconds a K, or like, which is going to be like 4 seconds a mile, isn't it? Which everyone knows, you go out too hard in a marathon by 4 seconds a mile, you're going to really suffer.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that it's only a small amount over 400 meters probably lulls you into a bit of a false sense of security, like you're not going out that much faster than you planned.
Yeah, and it's almost like so hard to get yourself to slow down as well, because you're already running, like, relatively slow.
It's gonna feel easy, isn't it? It's gonna feel easy. It should feel easy.
Yeah, and it did, and it felt not particularly bad through, like, 28, 29 miles, and then just after 29 miles, just suddenly it just felt really, really bad. Just sort of not even, like, necessarily, like, musculoskeletal fatigue, I was just like, I just really don't want to sort of do this anymore. Like, I just feel absolutely rubbish, and was just immediately then struggling to sort of take on any nutrition. And yeah, basically, like, we've sort of said the benefits of this type of race, like where you have access to nutrition and you're seeing the same people, every minute and a half, or every minute and a half to 2 minutes. But when the wheels start coming off, like it's a not very nice place for that to happen. Like if you go out too hard in a trail ultra and you have to like walk it in, like first of all you have to walk it in to get to the finish, often, but also you're out in the middle of the woods or you're in nature somewhere, like it still feels rubbish, but you're fairly like alone. Whereas this, it's like the wheels come off and you're on a running track and there's people that you've been seeing non-stop for like the last 3 or 4 hours. So the wheels just came off like physiologically, I guess, and then quickly mentally as well. Like it's just tough to keep pushing. And I basically just sort of thought, like, what's the point in absolutely battling for the next 10 miles, which probably would have been at least an hour and a half, where I could, pull the plug and I've had a good run and I've learned a lot. And then it will mean maybe like I'm back to sort of running normally in like 3 or 4 weeks rather than longer. Like I think I would have really like not sort of run. And I sort of realized as well, like I just didn't like, I like running, which I think comes across in terms of like the fact I'm not too fussed about doing sessions, and then I'm not too fussed about like pushing PBs or like chasing PBs. Like I like running. So I was sort of like, if I pull the plug now, I'll be able to go back to doing what I like sooner. So that's sort of, it just became a quite easy decision.
Sometimes pulling out is a smart decision, because if you, like you said, if you get yourself in a complete hole, well, you wouldn't have been happy with your performance and the time, and the recovery duration would be weeks, wouldn't it, to get back to normal running. And you see it in a marathon as well, and it'd be just amplified in a 40-mile race versus a 26-mile race. The marathons where I've recovered the best from are the ones where I've paced it the best. 100%, and I've actually had the best outcomes. Valencia, it's pretty much the best I've recovered from any marathon, and it wasn't quite a negative. It was just outside an even split, but it was like 30 seconds slower in the second half than the first. And I could run the next day. I did my first session back 10 days later, which I said felt pretty awful. Next session, I was back and ready to go. I was pretty good, and just feel like I've kept that momentum going from there. Whereas my first marathon I did was Manchester. I was 22 years old. I'd been super fit. I'd just gone to World Uni Cross Country Champs like 4 weeks previously. I had a really good run there. Picked up a bug on my way home. I think I fried myself in a race. I really turned myself inside out. Picked up a bug on my way home. Was like properly ill for like 2.5, 3 weeks and barely ran more than 30 minutes. Decided I was still going to do Manchester. Went out like far too ambitiously, like 2:20 pace. I was like, right, first one, I'm going to go under 2:20 pre-super shoe. And like you, within like half a mile, I went from feeling great to feeling horrendous. Like I remember like 16.5 miles, I was great. 17 miles, I was in a hole. Told myself I'd get to 20 miles and I'd pull out, and got to 20 miles and it was the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I well, I better finish it then. But if I had that option to just stop there, I would have stopped.
Yeah.
No doubt. And that marathon I ended up running 2:27, which was all right, considering, but not what at the time, I reckon I was definitely sub 30 10K shape and going really well. But I came 8 foot Bucks Cross. But the recovery was it was weeks. I could not walk the next day. I couldn't go up and down the stairs the next day. I was in an absolute hole. And partly that's going to be the conditioning beforehand. I'd missed a few weeks training, but I had been properly training for this marathon. I've been doing hard long runs and all that before getting ill. But no, it was probably about 2 months, but I reckon before I was back and feeling normalish again.
Yeah.
You just don't want that.
Yeah, I just wanted to avoid that. And I think also that's, again, I think it's frustrating, but also learn a lot from it. And I sort of have the impression that, or I feel like with a race like this, and maybe the same can be said for the marathon, like you you're pretty unlikely to sort of get it all right on the first one, and if you do, it's probably complete luck, and you might not do it again the next time, because you do need to learn learn a few lessons. And feels frustrating. I think I could have, even really like struggling in the last 10 miles, I probably could have come away with like a not bad time, and like, this is like the Welsh ultra champs, like probably a pretty good placing there. But I think it's better that I've then learned these lessons to then apply. And like you said as well, with like pulling out of the race, that's something that I've learned, is that you can't get to 30 miles and then just be hanging on for dear life, because you're just going to drop out. Like, it's so easy to do that. And I know there'll be people listening being like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'll just power through, like mind over, I don't know, is it mind over matter?
Mind over matter, yeah.
Yeah, but I'd if anyone wants to try it, like, go too hard for the first 30 miles, like sign up, go too hard, and then stick it to the finish. Like,
yeah,
I don't think anyone would, because it's so easy to stop.
But it also gets to a point where it's not a really a rational decision, is it? Like, you physiologically cannot keep going, and if you are going to have to keep going, the cost is just going to be so high, the pace is going to be so slow.
Yeah. And in terms of even like the race last year, like, sort of within, I mean, I've got the race report somewhere. I'll chuck it on the Insta maybe. Like, I think it was within the space of like 15 minutes, basically, the guy that was leading dropped out, and then I dropped out, and I think someone else maybe dropped out, but then also the guy that was behind me, like, a couple of laps behind me, like, he was like struggling and having to take like walking laps, and like he ended up finishing and ran a good time, and has run a few more good races since, like Run for Wales and like ultra distances. But it wasn't like just me. It was like there was a lot of us, where you get to 30 miles and like, yeah, it's really tough, and you have to have paced it right. Whereas the guy that won, and I feel really bad, I forget his name, I think he came down from Scotland. He just kept, and he's done Barry 40 loads, and he just kept trucking, and like, obviously he paced it well because he won the thing. But I think it's, if you pace it too hard, even if you could actually still get to 40 miles, if you get too close to that point, it's just too easy to drop out. So that's something else to consider, to go like really conservatively.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess, like, you might, I guess, if you have the absolute ideal pace for the race, but then maybe you go a little bit slower at the start and then a bit faster in the last 5 miles. Maybe you don't make it all up in the last 5 miles, but that's a way better way to run it.
100%. And people struggle with this concept. I think, well, I'll be tired, whatever. I'm not going to be able to pick it up. And like, you can pick it up. I've when I ran Manchester at a different time, when I ran a bit better, I ran 2:15, which was a big breakthrough. Like, previous best was 2:18. I was 90 seconds faster in the second half. I was running like 2:12 pace for the last 10k, and that just brings you back so much time. Like, if you pace it well, if you put yourself in a good position, you can really just hammer that last 10k in a marathon, and like, to an extent you can do that in an ultra.
Yeah, and I think
actually really you are so submaximal.
Yeah,
even in the marathon, like, for a lot of it, you are running, I'm averaging like 165 beats a minute for a marathon. Well, my max is 190. Like, if you're fresh enough, you can really, you've fueled well, you can really push up to those higher intensities and gain back a lot of time, can't you? But if you've gone out too hard, you're never going to be able to reach those intensities at any point.
Yeah, and I think just to get like where, I've been saying I haven't really been thinking about it mentally, but maybe the one thing I have been thinking about is that actually you get to 5 miles to go, and it's 20 and a bit laps. Like, that's not that many. Like, that's a session, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And then 4 miles to go. That's like it's suddenly, I don't know why, but that's sort of like 5-6 miles to go. suddenly it becomes like very close.
Yeah.
And like you said with the marathon, 6 miles to go, just like, just go for it sort of thing. Like maybe that probably won't be the case. Maybe it'll be like 3 or 4 miles. But I think if I could get to that point, and even if the pace doesn't pick up that much, but feel like I've, gone up a gear, that will then feel like I've paced it right.
Yeah. 100%. Well, for me in the marathon, I'm thinking like 10K to go. That's like the shortest run I do. I can get through 10K.
Yeah.
Then you go, and then I think about 30 minutes of running. Like I wouldn't bother going out for 30-minute runs. You get to 5K to go, and you're like, well, that's park run. Like I pushed Naran in the buggy. That's nothing. Like park run 5K. Like, especially when you can go, right, well, you kid yourself as well. You go like miles. They're 5 minutes, aren't they? So at 5 minutes, even when they're not 5 minutes, like it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you get to 2 miles to go, and you just think, wow, this is you've just got to get through it, haven't you? And it's just breaking it up and using those mind games to break up into manageable sections.
Yeah, and I think the dark period is probably like 20 to 35 miles. I think that's where it doesn't feel like it's getting any closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think in a marathon, like as long as you've paced it, if you're evenly pacing it, you finish with an even pacing like strategy. The hardest bit is probably 13 to 20 miles psychologically, and but you're still a long way out, but it's hurting.
Yeah.
And you can't quite see the finish, so it still feels a long way to go. Even like 18, you get to 18 miles and you've got 8 miles to go. You go, well, I think that for that, like, well, for me, I'm going, well, actually, 8 miles, 40 minutes. That's not that. That's actually not that long. You can get through this. But when it's 14, 15 miles, and it's starting to hurt now.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. Yeah.
It's a long way to go and still drag it out.
Yeah, hopefully.
We need a psychologist on, don't we?
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll have to find someone to talk through this.
Yeah.
I mean, we said about talking through the word has completely slipped my mind now. What's the word? It's completely gone now.
Describe it.
Resilience, that was it. Talking through like resilience and that idea of like I said, like getting to putting yourself in such a hole and thinking you can like get yourself out of it, and like especially training that, I think is definitely something I want to talk through with someone, because I think it's something that it's a component of not necessarily physiology, but it's a component of endurance running that people try to train, and I don't think many people do it right. I mean,
do you know what my hot take on resilience is? Right. If I'm allowed to have a hot take on anything, is that actually the day-to-day runner is in some ways more resilient than the pro athlete, because the pro athlete is training at 10 o'clock in the morning. They typically haven't got kids. They typically are not working another job. Their job is to go and run. Actually, life for them is reasonably easy. And when they get challenged by something unexpected, they find that really hard. Whereas if someone is used to training in far from optimal conditions, times, fueling, like sleep deprivation, whatever, when it comes to an unexpected challenge within the race, like, your bottle is not there, you've missed a bottle at 20 miles, or you've miscounted what K you're on, and you think you thought you had 10K to go, but you've actually got 11K to go. Those sort of like psychological challenges. I think that non-professional, non-elite runner is in a better place to deal with those sort of stresses.
Yeah.
Not always, but as a rule, I've definitely come across like professionals, or effectively professionals, student athletes who have had everything done for them, and they come across any sort of obstacle like in the race, pre-race, and they just crumble.
I think there's that, and then there's also where people are really, really, where the sort of power dynamic in like coach athlete relationships is really bad as well, and then you sort of have someone that can't think for themselves, like
100%. 100%. That's another one, isn't it? If they've just literally do whatever comes out of the coach's mouth, that's what they do. No thinking about it. Then when they actually have to think for themselves, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Big stress response, and they just stop running. Right?
Yeah. And I think like you can push it too far, which I think would probably be the direction like we would explore, because I think that's what people like. I've said this before a few episodes ago, didn't I? Like people seek out training like resilience, and I don't think that's how you should do it. Or you need like good like support sort of mechanisms around that. But I'd also agree. Yeah, like having to get training done and having to know when to stop yourself without a coach, or even without like a lactate device telling you, like you just have to go and feel like I think that equips people for potentially better performances, or being able to dig a bit deeper.
Well, it's just, I think it's just it boils down to like, a challenge comes up and it's not even a conscious, is it? That's the thing why it's difficult to train. It's not a conscious decision. A challenge comes up, and how you respond to that is organic. It's just inbuilt to not inbuilt, but it's built upon what your life has led you to, like what experiences you've had. And is it like, that's crap, I need to just keep I've just got to keep pushing anyway? Or is it, that's crap, right, that's my race done, I'll just pull out, jog it in, whatever? Or it just really throws you off. Excuse me. And obviously sometimes it's not it's something you can't do anything about, like going out too fast. Well, once you've gone out too fast, you've gone out too fast. That's not something unexpected coming, that's just what happens, isn't it? But there's just unexpected things, or when it gets tough in a race, how do you respond to that?
Hopefully answered that question, because we had a few people ask, didn't we?
So you haven't decided to do some long runs around the track then to build your resilience?
No. I think that would be a real way to mess with your mind.
And then just go, do like, that really, I think
that's really, really falling into a specificity trap.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
When's your last run around the track?
Oh, that's been a while. Probably back in like August, September time. Because any sessions I've done have either been Butte Park or treadmill. So probably the summer.
Nice.
I mean, I need to
be looking forward to just a nice flat surface. And
that would be nice.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few potholes at the track at Barry, but it's not picturesque, or not state of the art. Not hosting a major competition there anytime soon.
No, not hosting
apart from Barry Track 40.
Oh yeah. Nice. Should we wrap that up there then?
Yeah, let's leave
3 weeks to go.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. Nice.
But I guess we'll catch everyone next time.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.